Yeah, I would love to start with that question. Just ask you about your life and what's happened so far and how you understand the things that have happened to you. And you can answer that in any way that you like, at whatever length you'd like. I'd love to hear about it. And yeah.
Yeah, I think if we zoom out, my life's kind of gone through like different phases. Like we had the curiosity time of growing up. We had the like the mission time, the impact time after that. And then we'll call it like sabbatical slash time. Um, so yeah, so uh I grew up in what has to be described as a super loving household. Like my mom and dad were not perfect, but they were very self-aware and super caring. Um, and yeah, that uh, in that backdrop, I like my most of my excitement growing up was I either wanted to be a pastor or an astrophysicist. I don't know where that second one came in. I was trying to trace it back. I don't know, but pastor or astrophysicist, it was going to be. I don't think I could even say the word astrophysicist. So I would walk around as a 10-year-old telling everyone that I just really want to get into cosmetology, um, which I was. People would laugh and say, "Oh, wow!" And then I later found out that I actually wanted to get into cosmology. I didn't want to get into makeup. I wanted to get into the origins of the universe. and, and yeah, some of my best memories, like when I think about it, my childhood, think about growing up, like it's just all books, man. Like flipping pages, just following wherever the curiosity led. But yeah, there were really like two threads that emerged, especially as I got into college, like kind of left my home, left this like, by all means incredibly nourishing place. And you know, there was the God thread of I love God, I love Jesus, I love what this means for me, I love what this means for the world, and I want to follow that pastor calling. But then also this building thing that I found out I could just put my fingers on this little 87 key thing and like, worlds emerge, little products. And yeah, that intoxication hit me pretty quick, like around 18 of just like I, I just want to build things, man. Like whether it be NaNoWriMo, like writing a novel or building products, it was like fucking amazing. And so kind of in that like two threads. I don't want to flicker between the two of them too much, but like yeah, my second year of college, I started a company that was doing private school finance, and uh, I just loved the experience of building something that people were using, that they were paying. Like I started it with one of my best friends, and we had just like a ton of fun doing that. And yeah, it was like a period of finding the others that also just love building, like finding the other founders, finding those other people that weren't sleeping, because they just wanted to create something. And yeah, that was you know, I read a lot of books and did not make a lot of friends if we look back at before that time, and it was just an amazing experience. And I really felt this like rehashing of this experience when I found Teapot and found Twitter, but like not being understood in a specific way, understanding yourself in a specific way, and then suddenly like all these people are around that want to support you and want to like jam on it. And man, it was fun. Yeah, and then I guess parallel to that, there was like Brent that just really loved to spend his time praying and reading theology books and like making sense of the universe in whatever way he could. And I I have a lot of like love for that past Brent. I think it's very easy to like look at where it when I left the faith, when I kind of went out, and it's easy to look back and see, oh, that was just like fitting this neurosis or this like, I just had this unmet need that God was like kind of filling that hole. But like, no, it rules like having a direct relationship with God. And yeah, just the warmth and presence that that brought to everyday life was really beautiful. Um, and then I went off and did like that rationalist thing of like totally radicalizing myself. So I'm reading all this theology, trying to find like, wow, clearly there's something here. Like, I love talking to God. There's something here, but like this part of the Bible doesn't quite make sense, or this doesn't quite fit in. Like, how do we make? Okay, well, let's look at this system. Now that system doesn't work, and kind of like rotated through all these different like theological frameworks until I found Calvinism, which Ayla had this tweet, I think of like 20 likes back 3 years ago of like Calvinism is the autists' Christianity. And like it's so true, man. And like, man, it hits so good for that reason of like, what if we just found as much internal consistency and like trusted the Bible as much as we possibly could? And but unfortunately, like you follow that and it means like there's no good outside of God. Like some other like really like God is control of everything and determines everything. And yeah, it kind of left with this like tougher view of the universe. But as I kept going deeper and deeper, I really just believed like uh there's this, kind of binary thing that existed of you either love God, accept Jesus, and go to heaven, or you don't and you go to hell. And yeah, QC had this long thread recently about like just fucked up things happen when you attach an infinite value, like infinite negative to your value function. And like this idea of like if I don't talk to people over these 90 years or however I have in my life, if I don't do that, then people are going to go to hell. And so it makes sense to drop everything, like deny everything and follow Christ by teaching people about that. And yeah, I wouldn't say I got into like anything too fucked up, but it did lead me yeah, kind of down the path of mm, yeah, I don't like the word fucked up all actually at all associated with this, but yeah, it's weird to talk about this narrative. Like it's very much a part of me and also feels like it happened so long ago now. And yeah, but yeah, I ended up moving to the Middle East, like learning Arabic, going and pretty much saying like, great, if this is the way, like if this is the cosmic math, then let's spend, every waking moment telling people about Jesus, find the people that know about him the least and go do that. And yeah, I guess after a summer I realized that wasn't it for me. Like I clearly felt I either was supposed to be a missionary slash pastor or a business dude, and just realized like, okay, that doesn't really suit me. So I'll just go and earn as much money as I possibly can, just get super mega rich, and then donate it all to other people to be missionaries. And yeah, kind of in that frame, I met a girl. We got married right out of college, and yeah, like really beautiful, brilliant woman. And yeah, I kind of found myself at age 22, like raising money for this company I'd started, having this like internal alignment of like, okay, great, we're gonna raise money, kind of get the bag, give it all to missions, have everyone know God, success, surrounded by like a lot of people that I think, yeah, I genuinely loved and loved me. And then, yeah, that fall, right after I graduated, right after I was married, someone really close to me attempted suicide in a pretty dramatic way, and yeah, over over a 5 hour search and rescue party where they, helicopters and cops and everything just looking for them. I just remember spending that time like praying, and at first it started. Asking God for support, but it just got angrier and angrier. And yeah, there was this airing of grievances that I didn't know I had, where I this cold universe where if nothing good happens outside of God. If God's, determines everything and this awful thing would happen, then, I didn't want that father in my life. Like I won't, that wasn't what I believed. And, we can build up all these structures. David Chapman gave words to what I experienced like a couple of years later when I was reading his work. But we can build all these structures and belief system, but then eventually if you commit to something hard enough, you're going to have a piece of disconfirming evidence that just doesn't sit with you. And yeah, my whole belief system just like shattered. It was really painful. There was yeah, a lot of depression involved, a lot of numbness. But yeah, I guess on the bright side, uh, you know, I left him. I was leaving my community, like all my friends were Christian and kind of figuring out what the hell happens next. And there's something really interesting that I've noticed about like evangelicals and like ex-evangelicals especially and yeah, even some of my like more devout like ex-Islam friends, ex-Muslim friends, there's like this USB port that gets installed in your brain and like God plugs in. And then you remove God out of that. And it's not like that USB port goes away, you know. And I found, yeah, especially in like the other people that I've met with similar backgrounds, like this just incredible capacity for mission, for belief, for like to pick something audacious and big and go for it. And yeah, for me, that looked like climate tech. I was just gonna, I took all of this, like, let's save the world by telling them about Jesus energy and just funneled it right into let's build the best machine learning algorithms and do all the right math, all that, and we're gonna like draw down this carbon and survive as a species. And yeah, in a lot of ways, like I'm just fucking thankful for that religious upbringing, for whatever God gave me that did touch me so deeply because yeah, I think it's a part I love about myself. And yeah, so I went just funneled all that energy into climate, 60, 80 hour weeks. We were just like working. Absolutely loved building. Like, yeah, there was some neurotic, like avoiding of feelings going on for sure. The marriage wasn't going super well. I didn't really like that my dog barked all the time, but like I was having so much fun building worlds over here. And yeah, it kind of did that first business, joined another. Both were like early stage climate tech, or like, one was kind of machine learning and manufacturing. The other was robotics, in a vertical farm, and had like incredible amount of fun with both. And then my wife at the time sat me down and said, "Hey, Brent, like this isn't working. I want your permission before we end it. Like I want your buy-in, but this is over. Like this marriage is over." And there's a funny thing when you like commit your life to someone. You're saying like, yeah, whatever goes on, like you're going to be a constant. Like it's kind of like that faith system. Like whatever goes on, you're going to God is going to be in the picture. And yeah, I think like that was my second existential opening, or maybe my first, like that you have that picture of what your life's going to look like, and then it just gets like ripped out. And yeah, in the wake, I had a dear friend hand me a jar of mushrooms for the first time and said, "Go for it." And so yeah, I went for it. Learned a lot there. Like, my anxiety was totally driving so much of my productivity, and you remove that and tough things happen. There was like this just like rediscovery. I remember I just loved this reading and fiction and like all sorts of arts and music when I grew up, and then you take the mushrooms and they kind of like, you know, bring you out of that, Brent's view of the world is dominating into like we actually make contact with the world directly, a little bit. And yeah, so suddenly poetry was like the coolest fucking thing I had ever found. And art was, I could just stare at a piece of art and just like be moved. And I'd never had that experience since I was a kid. And yeah, I guess the other fun thing that happened was this my first ever trip. I had this experience of like afterward, like some amazing things happened, but then afterwards I just had this like tinnitus, but instead of just like a sharp ringing noise, it was just this voice that kept saying, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you. And it went on for about a week. I was way less concerned than maybe I should have been, like just a constant voice. But right around that time, I found your writings on Meta, and I had just experienced this like feeling of like, oh, this is what like what it feels like to be loved internally, and like from myself, and this voice just giving me this incredible gift of like feeling self-love. And yeah, I got really into the meditation, the metta, all that good stuff. It very, realizing that anxiety was a productivity driver and dropping that meant I was utter shit at my job for 3 months. And yeah, quit that, went on a sabbatical, did my whole eat, pray, love year, and and that led to starting Refract and kind of this current era of building, of solidity, of stability. But yeah, that's the life story so far.